Hey guys, Anna here. Thanks for joining me for today's video all about WordPress speed optimization. Let me give you a little preview before we dive in. On your marks, get set, and go!
Sue's come out in front!
Wow, wouldn't it be just awesome if your website was optimized to perform just like that? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make your website run just as fast as a Formula 1 car and leave all your competitors in its dust. Before we get started, let me know how you optimize your website speed in the comments below. Google has said that more than half of users fully abandon a website if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. Think of all the lost potential for your business. But don't worry, I'm gonna go in depth on how you can decrease your site's load time and enhance its performance for the end goal of optimizing your site. Here's a sneak peek of what we're gonna go through. Go with a reliable hosting provider, use a CDN, critical CSS, go with a light template or theme, enable caching, set to automatically optimize images, analyze performance on the regular, Minify scripts, keep plugins and WordPress updated, lazy load images, iframes and videos, optimize your database. Convert images to WebP and perform container-specific image resizing. Reduce comments per page and use pagination for galleries. Reduce social media calls and JavaScript tracking integrations. Don't embed video directly and don't embed Google Maps. I did say it was gonna be in-depth, right? Let's break this down one by one. Guys, I always stress about the importance of choosing the right type of hosting provider for your website, and for good reason. There's just nothing more important than this when it comes to website performance optimization. I get it, the really low pricing of shared hosting can be tempting, but it's just not worth it, especially if you want to keep your visitors on your website. So you see, when sharing a server with a bunch of others, another website on the same server could hog up all of the server's bandwidth, leading to an overburdened server and the clogging up of CPU and RAM. What does this result in for you and your website visitors? A slow website and potential downtime. But then again, having a separate dedicated server is oftentimes not necessary and really only suitable to be managed by businesses with teams of developers. What's the middle ground? Well, if you'd like to get with the times and bring your website with you, go for a reliable hosting provider that keeps your site on cloud, guarantees an uptime of 99.9%, uses Nginx, fast CGI caching, LXD containers, and the newest versions of PHP. And all of these factors will help you achieve the ultimate website speed. And who does this better than 10web? There's just no competition. All websites hosted on 10web get automatically 90+ page speed score, and the process of migrating your website is completely free. We also offer a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. I have linked that in the description for you. Next point, use a CDN. A CDN, or a content delivery network, is a sort of next-level optimization tool, particularly good for high-traffic websites. A CDN is essentially a network of geographically spread out servers. Each node of the network, referred to as an edge server, caches the main data of your website. Examples include images and structural components. What does this do? When a user tries to access your site, they will get the cache data from the closest edge server of the CDN, speeding up your website's load time and keeping the user happy. CDNs are usually a paid third-party tool, and some of the most popular CDN services for WordPress are Securi, Cloudflare, and Jetpack. But remember when I said your hosting provider is one of the most important factors in your website speed? Yeah, in this case, if you have a great hosting provider like 10web, a CDN may not be even necessary. Why? If your website visitors are from a single region like, let's say, US, rather being spread across the world, you don't need a CDN. Good hosting provider is enough. For websites with this type of traffic, 10web has 12 data centers around the world, so it can host your website on the most suitable data center geographically. And all of this for the price of shared hosting. Just $10 a month if you host one site and $6 if you host 10. And CDN and fast hosting may complement each other when it comes to speed. So if you have a good hosting that allows you to achieve a 90+ page speed score even without a CDN, so you may not need to buy one. For many, CDNs are used to make up for their hosting being slow, so they try to fix the issue of speed with it. Next point, critical CSS. CSS files are render blocking resources, which means that they must be loaded and processed before the browser renders the page. So their optimization has a huge impact on website loading speed and score. The foundation of CSS optimization is to split your CSS rules into two categories: critical and non-critical. Critical CSS are CSS rules that are crucial and used to render visible content. Non-critical CSS rules are any other CSS rules. This is done so you can load the critical parts, aka critical CSS, sooner. There are many tools that will help you extract critical CSS rules. For example, Critical CSS, or Penthouse. Or again, you could let a hosting provider like 10web handle this all for you. Next point, guys, go with a light template or a theme. Minimalism is key. It's all the rage these days, so you can apply the concept to your website too. When it comes to your theme or your website's template, you want it to look beautiful, polished, and professional. Another factor to include in that list is keeping it light. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, guys, the way to get the best of both worlds. Choose the lightest and simplest template or theme, and then build in additional features and functions to liven it up. This is much better than stripping down an already bloated template or theme. A theme should be light in size, SEO-friendly, responsive, and optimized for mobile, integrated with popular drag-and-drop or box builders, and compatible with other plugins and services. This is where hosting again plays a big role. Websites hosted on 10web can choose from a wide range of 40+ designer-made website templates that are pre-optimized, responsive, and mobile-friendly, keeping your PageSpeed score at 90+. So now you don't have to choose between beautiful yet heavy templates or simple but fast ones. You can get the best of both worlds with 10web, and you can of course customize these templates to suit your preferences and unique style. With all of this in mind, you can make sure your website does in fact spark joy in all who visit. Next point, enable caching. Caching is the process that stores rendered dynamic pages as a static HTML file the first time a user visits a site, and then serves it for all visits after without generating it again. Caching is enabled so when that same user comes to your website for round 2, always a good thing, the data loads significantly faster for an even better user experience. Most good hosting providers include caching services in one way or another. And of course, there are a number of third-party plugins you can use to complete this as well. At 10web, enabling caching is just one click away. Next point, set to automatically optimize images. We all know the importance of a visually appealing website. Images not only beautify a website, they also help break up chunks of text, making looking at your website more enjoyable for visitors. The catch? Fun, beautiful images, unfortunately, are usually pretty heavy and can significantly slow down the loading time of your website. The solution? Optimize images. Image optimization is the process of making an image lighter without changing its quality in any way that is noticeable to the human eye. It really comes down to pixels. The lossy compression algorithm finds and reduces redundant pixels within an image. However, there is a fine line between doing this effectively so that changes to the images such as depth and color variation are not visible, and being a little too aggressive with it so you just want to make sure to remain in the former category. The great thing about 10web's Image Optimizer is that it goes a step further and allows you to automatically compress all images upon upload to your website. So it's another thing you can take off your plate. Next point, guys, analyze performance on the regular. If you're serious about speed optimization, you also gotta be serious about regular website performance checks. You never want to underestimate the importance of the right diagnosis. The frequency of these checks can depend on how often you change your website in a meaningful way. For example, if you're just starting your journey and are making tweaks almost daily, you can check your site's performance on a weekly basis. If the foundational work is mostly done and you are just making minor changes here and there, you can analyze your site's performance once a month. There are a variety of tools you can use to do this, including Google PageSpeed Insights, Pingdom, or GTmetrix. But 10web has its own automatic WordPress speed optimization service that is super easy to use. And since 10web automates everything, there's no need to constantly check your page speed score to see if it's in a good range or has dropped. 90+ is guaranteed. 10web always displays your website page speed score right in your dashboard. If you decide to use a tool, they will be only beneficial depending on what you do with the info you learn. So make sure to keep track of previous performance reports to compare how your site speed has changed over time. Then you can analyze the results and make necessary changes to optimize your site speed even further. But with 10web, this is not necessary as 90+ PageSpeed score is guaranteed. So there is no need to worry about PageSpeed score rise and falls. It will always be over 90+. A load off your mind, right? Next point, minify scripts. Minifying your scripts packs a pretty big punch. Did you know that minification can actually reduce the file size by around 60%? This significantly accelerates your site. So what exactly is minification? When writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code, developers use comments, spacing, and well-named variables to make the code and markup readable. It's meant to help others who may continue working on the project later on. So it's helpful in the development phase, but not so helpful in the website viewing stage. Servers and browsers don't need the comments and well-structured code to be able to read the file content, so they end up just creating unnecessary network traffic with no real functional benefit. And that's why we minify script, by getting rid of all the comments, spaces, and code structure. While it can be done manually, it is a pretty painstaking process, so it's always recommended to use a plugin designed specifically for that purpose. Or have the option available as part of your hosting plan, of course. With 10web speed optimizing service, you get it automated. Look at it like bringing some minimalism into your script, again, sparking joy. Next point, keep plugins and WordPress updated. Alright, this one is super simple and easy to implement. Always make sure you're running the latest version of WordPress and make sure to update all your plugins and extensions. You can also make sure your site is still in need of all the plugins you have installed and activated, removing any that no longer serve your goals. Older versions of WordPress, outdated plugins, badly coded plugins, all this slow your website down and can even cause security and compatibility issues. Make sure all plugins you're installing are reliable. An easy way to do this is Google them and view some of the reviews and what they say. Also check when the plugin was last updated and if it's compatible with the current version of WordPress you're using. Another thing you can do is to run plugins made by the same team of developers whenever possible, as those are designed to work well together and won't cause problems for your site. These tasks, while simple on their own, really do add up. But if you're a 10web user, most of these will simply pass you by. The 10web dashboard will automatically update WordPress to the latest version and all the plugins you could ever need, including Form Maker, Google Calendar, Photo Gallery, Backup and Security, and so on. All are made to work perfectly together. Most 10web users have no need for third-party plugins, as 10web has all the essential functions covered in one package. Next point, guys, lazy load images, iframes, and videos. Lazy loading is based on a simple concept. If a site visitor can't see a piece of content, for example an image on their screen at a given moment, there's no reason to load it in advance. If a visitor to your site doesn't scroll down to the end of the page, where the image in question is located, then that image may not even load. Think of it like this. You can make a quick pit stop to add a liter of fuel to your tank, but you have no need to fill it completely if you have only a few laps left. Makes sense, right? You can see how this would significantly speed up the loading process of the website by focusing on the content that is actually visible to the visitor. This is especially true if there are lots of visuals, since they are heavier than text and can negatively impact site speed. So the solution of lazy loading images, iframes, and videos is an essential part of optimization. WordPress has included lazy loading in the core since version 5.5, and your hosting provider should allow lots of customization in this regard. With 10web, you guessed it, lazy load is automated, so you can take one more thing off your plate. Next up, guys, optimize your database. So over time, your database will gradually begin to accumulate unnecessary data. This clutter can in return reduce your site's load speed. Here's an example. Post revisions can take up a surprisingly large chunk of space on your site. If you have a 100 kilobyte post and it has 5 revisions, the total wasted amount will be 500 kilobyte. But don't worry, with regular cleanups, you can optimize your database size and achieve faster loading. And guys, here's an extra tip. Make sure to back up your database before optimizing it. You never know which random piece of trash may later be a treasure. With 10web, backups are insanely easy, and you can customize them just the way you want. Plugins such as WP Optimize can help you clean up your WordPress database by deleting unnecessary post revisions and drafts, orphaned plugin options, spam comments, and so much more. Next point, guys, convert images to WebP and perform container-specific image resizing. As you can see, when it comes to speed optimization, there's a pretty big focus on images as they can impact loading time significantly. Good thing there is WebP, a relatively new image format that is specifically designed to make the web faster. A WebP image is 20% smaller than its PNG counterpart and 25 to 30% smaller than its JPEG counterpart. That makes quite a difference. So guys, make sure to convert your images to this format or have it be part of your hosting plan, as it will most certainly boost the speed of your site. The next image-related optimization technique you can implement is container-specific image resizing. This scales your images to fit the container in which they are going to be displayed. As an example, if you upload a pretty large image, but your site layout only allows you to display its half-sized version, then instead of wasting time loading the original image, you can just scale it. This way you can make the images you upload work for your site, as they will fit their designated frames. Next point, guys, reduce comments per page and use pagination for galleries. Listen, we know how great it is to receive lots of great attention and feedback in the comment section on your blog posts. We'll love it too. And speaking of comments, make sure to leave one on this video. I love reading them. But guys, a ton of comments can actually slow down page load time. But don't worry, this doesn't mean disabling the comment section or anything drastic like that. Instead, reduce the number of comments shown per page and you can leave the default as 50. Some galleries may have infinite feed style pagination similar to social media feeds. So when it comes to galleries, use pagination in the same way you would use for comments. So guys, next point, reduce social media calls on JavaScript tracking integration. So now, social media is awesome, and I promise I'm not gonna recommend anything drastic here either. You may be thinking, what's the point of having a website if you can't attach your business's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to the landing page, right? The TLDR version, integrating all your social media accounts, guys, in the landing page is never a great idea. Here's a little case study. Consider a page with 8 images from Instagram integrated at the bottom of the homepage. According to Pingdom, Instagram adds over 10% to the page's size and is responsible for over 20% of all the requests. So the time it takes to load just the Instagram part of the site is 1.25 seconds. And if you remember the Google's 3rd-second rule, in this case, Instagram alone accounts for 1/3 of the precious loading time. What's more interesting is that while JavaScript tracking integrations and SDKs are useful and definitely interesting to observe, they also add up. It may be tempting to add tracking for Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, and more, but you want to make sure you are reducing the tracking integrations so you can reduce the amount of loaded scripts as a result. The key? Only track what is necessary to avoid negatively impacting your website speed. Another thing to consider is that by integrating all your socials on the homepage, you are potentially driving people away from your website, the focal point of your conversations, to your social media sites. It should be the other way around. People should find your website through your social media networks, engage, and ultimately convert. Case in point? You're watching this video right now, learning about all the great stuff 10web has to offer, and will click on the link in the description to get to our website and try our 14-day free trial. Next point, guys, don't embed videos directly. In addition to making adjustments for images, you can imagine how necessary it is for videos as well. A good rule of thumb is, before adding a video to your landing page, ask yourself, do I really need this? Plain and simple, there is no way to upload a video to your homepage without some loss of speed. If you embed it directly, you will use a lot of bandwidth each time the video is played, and you will be increasing the load of the server. Even if you decide to upload the video via YouTube, Vimeo, or another third-party service, you'll still be adding 7 extra calls for just that one video. The solution? Don't use a video on your landing page unless it is absolutely necessary. If you do want to use one, use lazy load for the video. Play by click. When the poster is displayed, then the video is played when clicked. But stay tuned till the end, because I may have some options up my sleeve for you. And the last point, guys, don't embed Google Maps. Letting your site visitors know exactly where to find you by embedding a Google map does seem like a great idea. But as was the case for videos, ask yourself, do I absolutely need a map on my landing page? In fact, you can ask yourself, do I even need the map on the Contact Us page? Can't your clients simply input the available address themselves? Consider the fact that a page with a map gets 20 Google Maps related requests out of the overall 84 it receives. The result? About half a second more load time in a very limited 3-second time frame. One option is to simply save the Google Map as an image and upload it to your Contact Us page. It will be about the same level of usefulness of an embed map, but will cut out a very significant 30 seconds of wait time for your site visitors. Alright guys, these are all the ways you can optimize your WordPress website. It's a lot to take in and a lot to implement, I know. So luckily there is another way. If you want to have all this done quickly and even have most of it done for you automatically, saving your time, energy, and even sanity, the answer is simple: go with TenWeb. You have heard so much about TenWeb already, the automated WordPress platform. And now guys, I'm going to show you how you can get an optimized copy of your site for free. The automatic migration method saves you hours and hours of difficult work and immediately results in a 90+ PageSpeed score. The simple process is as follows. Register on TenWeb and choose the 14-day free trial. You can then migrate your website for free. Install TenWeb Manager plugin, and TenWeb will automatically create an optimized copy of your website with a 90+ PageSpeed score for both desktop and mobile. And don't worry, it won't affect your live website at all. This is just for creating an optimized copy of your site so you can see its full potential. See, the process was super easy. Now, TenWeb's automatic 90+ PageSpeed score is very impressive, so much that many users refer to it as the TenWeb Magic Touch. Well, today I want to break down this magic for you guys and show you how TenWeb technology works. Taking a look under the hood, so to speak. This way you'll better understand how we achieve these awesome results. First things first, we can't talk about speed optimization without talking about the first point we made in our list: a reliable hosting provider being the foundation of an optimized website. If you don't have a hosting environment designed to enable high speed, then it's already a losing battle. Luckily, TenWeb has made it their mission to provide state-of-the-art hosting infrastructure. What does that entail? Let's have a look under the hood, shall we? TenWeb's hosting services are powered by Google Cloud. This is their gateway to 99.9% uptime, high speed, and security. TenWeb has over 12 data centers across the world. This enhances your website's connectivity and speed, as it reduces the travel time of your data, making it accessible not only to your target audience, but worldwide as well. TenWeb also uses Nginx, PHP FPM, fast CGI caching, Linux containers, and the latest version of PHP. All of this combined helps TenWeb ensure lightning-fast speed, and the use of Linux containers also isolates your website's data, enhancing the security. Providing sufficient storage space also prevents overloading servers. TenWeb has got you covered on that front by using the latest generation of SSD disks with optimal storage capacity to guarantee both a high and steady performance. TenWeb uses an optimized MySQL database tailor-made to suit WordPress websites, therefore ensuring high efficiency. TenWeb relies on the Redis database to temporarily store data, and we know that the Redis database is known for its extraordinarily fast performance. TenWeb also uses the premium DNS services provided by Amazon Road 5.3 for fast DNS resolution. So to this point, you get the picture. TenWeb takes WordPress speed optimization very seriously. All of these tools and techniques will surely result in a fast website, but since it's not enough to guarantee 90+ PageSpeed score for every WordPress website, TenWeb included a speed optimization service in all of their plans. The TenWeb Speed Optimizer is a plugin that is automatically installed and utilized when you host or migrate your website to TenWeb, and it is dedicated to guaranteeing an optimized performance for every website. Yes, you heard that right, every single one. The Google PageSpeed module has been integrated with the Speed Optimizer, enhancing your website's performance on the server level. Honestly, when it comes to the Speed Optimization plugin, seeing really is believing. So I really encourage you to try it out for yourself with TenWeb's 14-day free trial. If you believe this all sounds a little too good to be true, just put it to the test. No credit card necessary. I'll do my best to put the magic of this plugin into words for you. So once you've got your site on TenWeb, you can immediately begin optimizing and improving the performance of it with TenWeb Speed Optimizer. Just head to the WordPress admin dashboard on your website, click on Settings in the left-hand menu. At the bottom, you'll see TenWeb Speed Optimizer. Click on it. Let's take a look at some of the options. In the different tabs, you can Cache generated static files. You can enable this option to reuse generated static files for every request and speed up page loading speed. Font swap. For the purpose of low latency, your content is shown in a generic font to bridge the time until your original font style is generated. JavaScript and CSS file compression. We also covered the importance of making existing files lighter, and the Speed Optimizer allows you to compress your JavaScript and CSS files. You can also choose to compress inline JavaScript and CSS while excluding any JavaScript and CSS files from compression. This way, you assure your site runs smoothly and quickly. Next is delay all JavaScript. The option to delay all JavaScript code execution before interaction is enabled by default in Speed Optimizer. All JavaScript files are downloaded in the background, connected to the page only upon user interaction. This helps to speed up your site significantly. Lazy loading. Remember when we covered the importance of lazy loading when it comes to the speed of your site? With TenWeb Speed Optimizer, you can lazy load images, background images, iframes, and videos. You can even customize by inputting specific images, iframes, or videos you prefer not to be deferred. Preload videos. I promised you I had a few more options when it comes to videos up my sleeve. With the Speed Optimizer, preloading videos will download and cache the data. This will positively impact the load speed of your page, making it faster. And set YouTube and Vimeo clickable image. The Speed Optimizer also gives you the option to replace embedded YouTube and Vimeo videos with a clickable, automatically generated thumbnail. When a video is embedded, the JavaScript CSS starts to load as soon as your page is loaded. With the clickable thumbnail, the JavaScript CSS starts loading once the visitor clicks on the thumbnail, making your pages lighter and giving you a faster page load speed. Once you are done configuring all of the settings, make sure to save them and then clear cache. Before we end this video, I also want to mention some of the best practices in setting up TenWeb Speed Optimizer correctly. If you're wondering how you can configure the plugin with Cloudflare, don't. When you install our plugin, there is no need to configure. It will automatically trigger your Cloudflare cache flush. When it comes to dynamic pages such as WooCommerce, you can exclude them from optimizing by selecting those pages in the settings. Trying to optimize them will lead to unexpected problems, so it's best to exclude these types of pages. You can check your PageSpeed scores on our speed optimization service I have linked in the description for you. Once you copy and paste the URL of your website, it will be analyzed and the PageSpeed scores for both your desktop and mobile will be displayed. Recommendations will be made on how you can improve your scores, unless of course you are already hosted on TenWeb and have that sweet 90+ score. Once you implement some meaningful changes, you can check your scores again and check the score of other pages as well. The frequency of the checks can depend on how often major changes have been made. In terms of needing to reset, if there is no cache, there's no need to reset. Alright everyone, so I hope you enjoyed this video and make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, you can comment them down below for me. Remember, if you want to make your website fast, just like the Formula 1 cars, you have found the answer. TenWeb's automatic WordPress platform. Take care and I'll see you next time.
This video was brought to you by TenWeb, an automated WordPress platform designed for agencies. Automate hosting, speed optimization, migration, site building and management, and skyrocket your agency growth. Sign up for a 14-day free trial and experience true automation.